What is up, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Thursday night. It is 5 o'clock. Coming to you live from Lakewood Ranch. My name is Adam Miller with the 941 Lifestyle Group, real estate agent, lifestyle matchmaker. It is a toasty, toasty, toasty Thursday. It has been in the mid 90s already. I guess it's June. Summer, right? Summer. Happy summer. Today, tomorrow. Today, tomorrow. Things today. Anyway, happy summer. Welcome to the live stream. We appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, we would love to know where you guys are watching from. Always intrigued to hear that. Drop a comment down below if you're watching live. Fantastic. Drop those comments down below with your questions as well too. And if you're watching the replay, we're going to get to those anyway. So if you don't want to put your name out there on the YouTube, you can always send me an email or a text. Contact information is going to be in the description down below, as well as all of the information and the stories that we're going to go over today. I got some fun stuff to go over today. We did have a question come through. Let me throw that up on the screen real quick. I love these types of questions. Hey, man, what makes you guys different from all of the other real estate agents out there? Don't y'all do the same thing anyways? Great question. Sadly, most buyers and sellers think that most real estate agents all do the same thing. I know that's not the case for us. There's lots of fantastic real estate agents here in Sarasota, Manatee County. I know a lot of them. A couple things is we do, I think that's slightly different. I can't say this about everybody. There's 9,000 real estate agents, but certainly from the most, when it comes to selling, hyper targeting buyers. Because here's what I always say. Sometimes people don't want to hear this, but when you're selling a house, your house is not for everybody. That's not a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Our goal as lifestyle matchmakers, which is number 2 on the list, is to find the buyer who is looking for a home like yours in a neighborhood like yours. Not the same as just marketing it to everybody. So when we do our marketing videos, photos, blogs, we also spend the money to hyper target. We've gotten really good at that over the last decade. And I think that's one of the things that we do differently. And then lifestyle matchmaking. What the heck does that mean? You always hear me say, right? Real estate agent and a lifestyle matchmaker. Certainly in Lakewood Ranch for sure. And lots of other communities as well too. We firmly believe that most people, even though they're shopping for a house and looking for a house, of course, they're going to love the house. But a vast majority buy the house because of the community that they're in. It's true. Like I said, especially in Lakewood Ranch, where it is all about the lifestyle. And what do I mean by that? Let's just say, for example, you're looking to buy a house for $700,000. You can buy a house in a neighborhood that has no amenities, right? Or you can buy a $700,000 house in a gated community that has a community center and has a gym and a hot tub and pickleball and tennis. That's what we're talking about in terms of lifestyle matchmaking. So it's our goal when you are buying a home is to really sit down and dig deep and find out all the things that are important to you so that we can match you with the right neighborhood for your lifestyle. And then in terms of sellers, same thing. We are articulating the message, not just throwing it in the multiple listing service, doing one of this. What most agents do is that's hoping and praying and hoping that a buyer comes along. So we do is try to dig deep from the sellers and find out all the things that are important about their home and their community. More about their community, because obviously we know how to market a home for sale, but it's a community and it's a lifestyle. So we dig deep and find out all the things that are important to them as home sellers. And then of course we're on social media. Now, a lot of real estate agents say that they're on social media, but if you've been following us, we're on social media. We've dropped, I think, oh man, I don't know, close to like 250 videos this year on our YouTube channels. Oh, by the way, we have 2 YouTube channels. The one you're watching now, 941 Lifestyle Group. We also have 941 Premier Home Tours, which are property tours. If you like HD TV, Bravo style property tours, you'll love that channel. Make sure you subscribe to those. They are model homes. There are listings. There are other people's listings because they know that we are great at marketing. All right. So those are some reasons that we're different. Next up, I'm going to talk about our featured village. So let me share my screen. Today's village is Monterey. And I love Monterey. I'm kind of slightly infatuated with Monterey for a couple reasons. This is the, where'd it go? Here it is, the map of Lakewood Ranch, right? All of the 40 or so neighborhoods are all in this little map, except for over here, which is, let me get that on the screen, which is Monterey. See, that's right over here. That's Monterey, not in Lakewood Ranch. Very strange, right? All right, let me show you a quick little video I put together. And let me see if I can find it on my screen. There it is. And while that is rolling, I'm going to give you a little information about Monterey. So the reason I like Monterey is it literally is not in Lakewood Ranch. That's why I'm so intrigued with it. It is about 3.5 miles east on Fruitville Road, east of Lorraine Road. So that's why I'm intrigued by it. There's a whole, I talked about it already. I shared the article about how that came to be. It's probably going to happen more often. This is a video I shot when I did some property tours. I'm going to put a link in the description down below to the 2 model homes that they currently have for sale. And what I love about them is they're super unique. They do not look like any other homes. This one might look like some of the homes, but the model homes do not look like most of the other homes. So you can find homes from the $700,000 range to a little over $1 million. The homeowners association fees in the low to mid $300,000 range. So there is not a clubhouse just yet. It's still going to be built. It's probably going to be another year and a half before it's even built, but it's going to have a clubhouse, pool, fitness center, dog park, tennis, pickleball. Here's the other cool thing about it too, is all of the Lakewood Ranch villages in Sarasota County, none of them are gated except for Monterey. It's gated. It's built by Toll Brothers. There are currently going to be 113 single family homes, single stories, 2 stories with 9 floor plans. And they're going to range from 2,500 square feet to over 4,900 square feet. I think the model home is close to 49, I think it's 47 square feet. I did put a link in the description to the video because it is just gorgeous. And honestly, I know I say this in a lot of my videos, some of my favorite pools. Look at this backyard area. So unbelievably gorgeous. Now under the full backyard, some of it. But there's probably going to be like another 300 plus homes to be built in there. Look at that pool, right? They were cleaning the fire pit the other day, but you see that on the bottom left there. There's like a little fire pit area. And I'm a huge fan of that layout. So you can look at, there is a spa, there is a beach entry, and then there is that kick-ass fireplace, if I can say that. Now, my only complaint about this one, it probably should be caged. Probably could be caged, but you're right on a body of water. And you can definitely get gators in there. So super, super, super cool community. Monterey, I'll put a link in the description down below. I love it because it really is just like so off the beaten path. I'm telling you, I've lived out east before. When we lived here the first time around, we lived out east. It's not really that far. And you kind of get the benefits and the prestige of saying you're in Lakewood Ranch, but not really being in Lakewood Ranch because that is really far. It's far. It's 3.5 miles east. And it'll be interesting to see what comes on Fruitville Road, because right now in that area, you got to drive pretty far, maybe like 15 minutes before you get to like some shopping, like a gas station. And I think there's a restaurant out there. There's some other stuff coming that way, but it is not there yet. Okay, I got 3 stories today, and then we're going to dive into our top story. And again, drop your comments down below. I want to hear where you guys are watching from and what kind of questions you guys have. All right, let's move on to our first story. I was happy to see this one. So Lorraine Road housing project planned to include affordable units. And one of the things I do love about Lakewood Ranch is that they make sure that there is a home for everybody. Now, these are going to be rentals. And it's called Lakewood Springs. So for those of you who don't know, Lorraine Road goes north-south or south-north through the entire Lakewood Ranch neighborhood. State Road 64 at the north, all the way down to Fruitville. It is a great alternative, especially when there is an accident on I-75. It's one of just a handful of roads now that go north and south, but it also goes right through the center of Lakewood Ranch. And currently it is 2 lanes, man, but that's going to change. I just read what they're going to do. I'll read with you too. So if Lakewood Springs is approved by Manatee County commissioners, the 2 projects will bring 365 rental townhomes to an area that's slated to be much more pedestrian friendly thanks to a 66 million road project. Speaking of pedestrian friendly, I digress because I'm going to do a video in a couple of weeks. I can't remember if it's next week on the live stream or the following week about walkable Lakewood Ranch. It's actually a terrible walkable town. It actually rated a zero on walkable.com. Zero. So interesting to see that there is a push to make it much more pedestrian friendly, which is cool because if they do make it walkable, there are some cool things that you can walk to. Now, not a ton of things you can walk to, but there's going to be more stuff coming. Anyway, if all 365 units are approved, 92% of the rentals in the two developments will be set for affordable rates, as determined by HUD. Wyndham's first proposal for 66 townhome Lorraine crossings was approved by the commissioners, which was awesome, on April 18th. The 10-acre parcel is located in the south of Savannah, which is a really cool neighborhood in Lakewood Ranch, single-family homes. And 17 of the 66 will be designated as affordable. So here's the improvements that are coming on Lorraine Road. Upgrading between 59th Avenue and State Road 64. So that is basically from Lakewood Ranch Boulevard to the north. I'm sorry, not Lakewood Ranch Boulevard, State Road 70 north to State Road 64. Estimated cost of $66 million. Construction is expected to begin not till next year and finish in May of 2027. That is a 2.5-year project. My goodness. And that's not that long either. I don't know how far it is, but not that far. So they're going to build 2 additional car lanes, which is great. That's going to make it 4 lanes, 2 in each direction, and a raised median, which is great because those roads are already tight. And the last thing we need is head-on collisions. There's going to be a 10-foot multi-use path on the west side, right? Bikes, walking, a 5-foot sidewalk on the east side, and a 7-foot buffered bike lane on both sides. That's awesome. So the commissioners haven't voted yet. The approximately 39-acre property is south of Lorraine Crossings and about a half a mile from 44th Avenue East. The proposal for 229 homes in Lakewood Springs was unanimously approved by the Planning Commission on June 13th and will go before the commission at the next land use meeting on June the 20th, which is today. So we will find out about that soon enough. Cool. I'm going to put a link in this description down below. This I thought was interesting too. With the average median income in Manatee County, $97,000. Not too shabby. All right, this one. Oh my goodness, is this causing a stink? I did a video not too long ago about homeowners associations. Holy cow. You're kind of either or. Either you are okay with homeowners associations or you just absolutely hate them. And always fun to talk about because guess what? Everybody's got an opinion on it. Me personally, kind of like homeowners association for a whole lot of reasons. I'm a real estate agent, so I know what it looks like when you don't have a homeowners association. And that's the argument I always have with people. Not argument, but that's kind of the flip side of the coin. And the most people who argue are not people who are in that neighborhood. But if you have no homeowner association and no deed restrictions and your neighbor's got, 5 cars on blocks in the front of the house and overgrown lawn and painted orange, you think it's going to be easier for to sell your house next door or tougher? You think your house is going to be worth more money or less money if that's what your neighbor looks like? So good things about homeowners association. Don't get me wrong. There's some terrible things about homeowners association. I was on a homeowners association. I was the vice president of a homeowners association. Tough job, terrible job. Never do it again. All right. So I read this. It was a really interesting read. So they worry about let me go back up because I skipped that little part. Our governor, DeSantis. I scrolled. No, I didn't scroll. Oh, yeah. Okay. So it has unintended consequences, which is usually the case when you write a bill. The bulk of the 44-page bill signed into law on May 31st, just the other day, by the governor pertains to the administration of homeowners associations. This I thought was interesting. Education requirements for directors. Imagine that. And how fees are imposed and records are kept. It's page 37 where the bill starts to concern Miller. Now, I've not read the bill. The bill states that homeowners association may not prohibit property owners, tenants, or guests from parking their work vehicles or personal vehicles, including pickup trucks, on the owner's driveway or in any other area where the owner has the right to park. So we'll talk about it a little bit, but here's where it's kind of a little controversial, because we've always known that there are a lot of neighborhoods who prohibit work vehicles. I don't know, mixed feelings on it. Is it advertising? Of course it's advertising. Is it meant to be advertising? No, of course not. If you've got if you own an air conditioning company and it says Adams Air Conditioning Company on the side of your van and you park it in your driveway, of course you're advertising it, but that's where you keep your van. So a lot of people who have businesses or are able to keep work trucks at their house overnight can't keep them at their house because a lot of homeowners associations don't allow it. But here's what the issue is. My thing with pickup trucks is that they're luxury vehicles now, which is true. When these CDDs and homeowners associations were formed in the beginning, these pickup trucks weren't quite what they were today. So there's going to have to be a little bit of flexibility because it's not a work truck for people in a lot of cases. So that's kind of the argument. And again, do you want a beater truck in your property if you're in a nice gated neighborhood? I don't know. Does it make it tough to sell your house when you've got that? Yeah, it does. I've seen it before. But yeah, so we also questioned how the bill that affects millions of homeowners across the state happened without more public participation and awareness of the issue. That I have a problem with, because yeah, that's government trying to sneak stuff in without even having a conversation. As for work vehicles, the bill specifically allows for official insignias and visible designation, but excludes commercial motor vehicles as defined by Florida statute 320, blah, 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 blah. The section defines commercial motor vehicles as having a gross vehicle weight over 26,000 pounds. So that's kind of a big vehicle. Essentially, the bill only precludes passenger buses, dump trucks, and the likes from parking in a driveway overnight. And any other area implies that a guest could arrive in an RV and park it on the lawn with the homeowner's permission. So there's where it's controversial. Drop a comment down below. What's your thoughts on that? Not what's your thoughts on homeowners association, but one, thoughts on the government not having any public input and kind of sneaking this bill in. And two, what's your thoughts on, having your next door neighbor with a dump truck on the front driveway or a school bus or an RV? Help you? Hurt you? Who knows? All right, next up, let's switch to something a little more fun. And that is fireworks. They're coming soon, right? It is mid to end of June. It's going to be July 4th soon in Lakewood Ranch. Well, this is Sarasota. It's in Sarasota. At Benderson Park. I mean, look how many people are there. So it's coming soon. So while you might expect that the shade would be a topic of fireworks at a fireworks show, Nathan Benderson Park, which is awesome, by the way. That's where I did my first 5K not too long ago. But there's all sorts of stuff there. They're building a City Furniture right there too, which is awesome if you don't know City Furniture. They're adding some tents to the ground for the fireworks show on July the 3rd, which I thought was interesting. Gates open at 5 p.m. for the event, which culminates just after 9 p.m. when the approximately 15-minute fireworks show will be fired from a barge on the lake. Last year's fireworks on the lake drew 16,000 people, and it continues to grow in popularity. Here's what I thought was cool. The overall event will see a change this year, as instead of offering multiple bands, Twinkle and Rock Soul Radio will perform a concert that begins at 5:30. Now, I've met Twinkle a few times. I'm friends with a lot of her good friends. If you do not know Twinkle, go on Facebook. I know she's on Instagram, but I don't know. Google Twinkle. I don't know what her handle is. I know I'm friends with her on both of those. Just do Twinkle Sarasota. Listen to her. She friggin' rocks. Got a great voice. Super cool. And yeah, I don't know if we're going yet, but we might go. So 10 inflatables will be available to kids and interactive photo displays. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of stuff. The tape show will be televised on the 4th of July. Again, this link is going to be in the description down below, fireworksonTheLake.com. $35 per vehicle. The south parking lot is $25 for cars, $55 for recreational vehicles. There's a special event lot next to the Homewood Suites, 16,000 cars, man. Even if they came in half that, 8,000 cars. I don't know where they put 8,000 cars. I know the parking lot's fairly big at Benderson. The south parking lot's not really that big, man. There's no way it holds 1,000 cars. And then the Homewood Suites, which is a little further down, closer to UTC Mall. That can't hold a lot. Although I did see just the other day when I drove by that area that there is an empty lot, which I thought would be a hotel because there's like 5 or 6 hotels, maybe 4 or 5 hotels right that area. It's empty. And I'm wondering if Benderson bought it specifically for a parking lot. I'm not sure. I always said if this real estate thing doesn't work out for me, I may want to own a parking lot. All right, I'm going to stop sharing for a second because we're going to talk about today's story, which is condos and are they crashing? Now, I did a video a while back about the condo market particularly in Florida, and how there's lots of changes coming, how lots of changes are coming, and they are crashing throughout most of the state, particularly on the East Coast. I don't know if you remember a year plus ago, there was the building collapse in the Miami area that caused a lot of things to change. So there's going to be a lot of changes. So first of all, insurance rates, because we've been inundated with hurricanes, they're going through the roof. Homeowners association fees going through the roofs. Taxes going through the roofs. Then there are also these other fees that homeowners association, again with homeowners association, man, they have been allowed to, up until this law passed, which is astonishing, not put aside money for things that are going to happen. Again, I've been on the board. I've sold a ton of condos. I understand this. You want to make sure if you are in a condo that there are what are called reserves. Because if you're in a condo, let's just say you're in a single story condo, as opposed to like a condo development that has 20, 30, 40 buildings. If you're in a condo, it's going to have a pool, right? It's going to have a hot tub. Maybe it has tennis courts. It's going to have a roof, right? Probably going to need to be painted. There might need to be updates on plumbing, electricity, so on and so forth. Homeowners associations, up until this law passed, have been able to get away with not putting that money aside, which sucks because there are certain things that you don't know are going to happen, right? Those events, maybe there's a fire, maybe there's a flood from a hurricane, but there's some stuff that you know is going to happen, right? Like you are going to have to paint the building one day. Maybe it's in a year, maybe it's in 5 years, maybe it's in 20 years. You're going to have to replace the roof. Again, maybe it's next year, maybe it's in 30 years. You want to make sure that there is money set aside for those projects that you know are going to happen. Maybe you need to resurface the pool. So if you don't put money aside, what happens is you get hit with what's called a special assessment. And homeowner associations have been able to get away with that. They're not going to any further. So now homeowner associations are starting to collect those fees, which is actually a good thing, because what happens with a special assessment is you find out it's going to cost you, $500,000 to replace the roof, right? We're talking about just one single building, whatever the cost is. That money gets split between all the homeowners, which would normally happen over many, many, many years. But with the special assessment, that's got to be paid. So what happens is, in addition to your monthly mortgage and your monthly tax or your yearly taxes and your utilities and your homeowners association fees, now you'll have a special assessment fee, which is on top of that one. So I digress a little bit, but that's kind of the backstory about why the real estate market is tough for condo owners. For selling them, it's tough. They're sitting on the market a lot longer. This is overall. So I wanted to dig deep to see what was happening in Lakewood Ranch in particular. So a couple of things that I pulled up. First, we've talked about this before too, is when condos are sitting on the market. So I pulled up to see in the last 24 hours, this is homes and condos, just for reference point, there were 183 homes and condos who had to adjust their price in the last 24 hours, meaning it was overpriced. Market rejected it. They had it lowered. 183. In the last 3 days, 415 properties had to adjust their price. And in the last 7 days, 700, yes, you heard me right, 766 homes and condos had to adjust their price because the market rejected their price. And in the last 7 days, 29 properties expired. There's only one reason that a property expires. That means it failed to sell. It came off the market. It's listed in the multiple listing service as expired. And listing agreements, when you take a listing, if I go to list a property, they're usually 6 months or a year listing agreement. Depends. It failed to sell in 6 months, 29 of them in the last 7 days. There's only one reason. It's the price. So that being said, I dug deep and pulled up some of the statistics in Lakewood Ranch. Now, I had to do just the zip codes because there's no way to pull up just Lakewood Ranch. So these are the statistics for 34202, 34211 condos specifically. So here's what I will tell you. There are 113 that are currently listed for sale. There are 27 that are pending and in escrow, meaning that buyers and sellers came together. They have accepted an offer, seller accepted the offer, and they are in escrow. There are 104 that have sold. And this is overall right now. And I'm going to drill down to some specifics. So in the terms of the ones that are active, the 113 on the low end, they have been on the market for 92 days. And in the high end, 338 days. The pending ones went into escrow between 66 days and 181 days. And then the ones that sold, 56 days to 288 days on average. Here's the number I want you to pay attention to. On average, the list price to sale price on the ones that sold was 97% of the asking price, meaning that, here's what it was listed for. Here's what it sold for. It was listed at $1 million. It sold for $970,000, 97% of the asking price. Here's why that's important. Because now we're going to dig deep and talk about what specifically is happening with the condo market in those two zip codes. So again, 113 condos listed for sale. 4 of those have been listed for 300 days or more. 300 days or more. 8 of those have been on the market for 200 days or more. 44 of those have been listed for 100 days or more. Now, again, I told you the average was 56 days on the market for the ones that have sold. So one of those properties had 11 price adjustments. 11 price adjustments. Talk about an unmotivated seller if you have to adjust the price 11 times. And shame on you, real estate agent, for taking a listing that was so overpriced. It was so overpriced that you had to adjust the price 11 times. And guess what? It still didn't go into escrow. I didn't go back to look to see how long ago the 11th price adjustment was, but it still didn't go to escrow. So that means it's still probably too high. And there were a bunch that had 7 price adjustments and a whole bunch that had 6 price adjustments. Now, I didn't go through all 113, but I started from the top and started to go down. 6 price adjustments is a lot. 7 price adjustments, it's a lot. Okay, so of the ones that were pending, there are 27 in escrow. On average, they are on the market for 181 days. 6 of those were listed for over 100 days before they went into escrow. And most of those 27 had 3 to 5 price adjustments. Now, I've taken hundreds of listings before. My personal opinion, maybe you disagree if you are a real estate agent and you're watching, 3 price adjustments is probably too high. It's one thing if, you got to test the market, maybe 5% over market value and you have to adjust it once. But if you're adjusting it 3, 4, 5 times, and you more than likely, you are not in the ballpark. You are not in the market. Yeah, you were on the market. Of the 104 that have sold, on average, it was 180 days. Only 10 of those actually sold in the last 30 days. So that was kind of shocking when I read that number, because 10 condos to sell in Lakewood Ranch in the last 30 days, that is a sign that the condos, they're starting to slow down here, because for all the reasons that I mentioned earlier. There were 19 of those properties that have sold of the 104 that were on the market for 100 days or more. There was one that was on the market for 280 days. It had 7 price adjustments. See where I'm going with this? So some of it's self-inflicted, and some of it is just the reality of condos having, higher HOA fees, possible special assessments, insurance rates going up. So here's the number that I have with my sellers when I go on listing appointments, because these are factual. The downside to overpricing your home and testing the market, it's in the data. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the data. A lot of people don't like the facts. I love data and I love facts because they don't lie. So had the stats, 97% was the average list price to sell price. So what happens when you overprice a home and it sits on the market, you do wind up losing money day after day after day. So I pulled up the statistics for the homes that the top 6 homes that sold that were on the market the longest. One sold for 86% of the asking price, 86% of the asking price, 81.4% of the asking price, 92% of the asking price, not too bad, 86% of the asking price. One sold for 76.9% of the asking price. So which would you rather have? 97% of the asking price if you priced it right the first time, or keeping your house on the market for 280 days, 100 days, and then eventually getting 76% of the asking price. And when I try to explain this to our home sellers, and most of the time they listen to me because I am logical and my sellers hired me to get the most money in the least amount of time with the least amount of hassles. If you're on the market for 280 days, or if you're on the market for 300 plus days, you're still paying your homeowners association every month. You're still paying your taxes. You're still paying your utilities. You're still paying your insurance. You're still spending all this money that you probably would not have to spend if you just priced it right the first time. And you still net more money when you price it right the first time. So anyway, controversial, I don't know. Some people love my honesty. I'm always respectfully honestly. It's one of the reasons that we have been so successful in real estate. It's because people like our honesty. Drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. I'm going to move on to what I have been ending the show with every week, which is, let me share my screen again, which is because we still get all the time people going, hey, Adam, I need to get a deal. I'm looking for a deal. I'm looking for a deal. Can I get a good deal? Well, if you're getting a condo, you can certainly get a deal. But here's what I wanted to go over with you is the builder incentives with new construction. Week after week. So this is on the lakewoodranch.com website. I'll put the link in the description down below. These are incentives that actually, I guess all the builders in Lakewood Ranch, not all the builders, but here are the incentives that the builders are offering. There's a bunch of them. D.R. Horton is having some incentives at Star Farms, D.R. Horton in Solera, Homes by West Bay at Star Farms. Great community. I love the homes in West Bay and Star Farms. I did a video there. It's at my editor's desk. Lennar Homes, Aurora at Lakewood Ranch, Lennar Homes at Lorraine Lakes, MI Homes in Sweetwater, Neal Communities, Pulte Homes in Waterside, Avanti, Pulte Homes at Sapphire Point. Actually, Sapphire Point, which is the video we just dropped on our 941 Premier Home Tours. If you want to check that out, I really like Sapphire Point. They have this cool, like, I don't know what you call it, like a little stage area to kind of watch concerts, but it's kind of a grassy knoll and it overlooks like a skateboard park. Maybe I'm aging myself. And Taylor Morrison at Azario Park East, Taylor Morrison at Azario Esplanade. So I pulled up 2 of them, which I thought were great incentives. So this is the one at Taylor Morrison at Esplanade at Azario. Save up to $20,000 for a limited time. You talk about a sweet deal. You can use that for a couple of reasons. Maybe they have specifics on it. Oh, yeah, it says right here. You can help reduce the rate. We can help you reduce the rate and provide you with the security you're looking for. Now, there's some limited time onlys, but generally you can use that money to either buy down the rate or discounts on the price. And then another one, D.R. Horton. I thought this was a really fantastic deal as well, which is now through, oh, that's old. Bummer. I did not catch that one. So my apologies. Maybe you can still get it. Call me. We'll go over there and we'll check it out. Receive up to $20,000 towards flex cash and closing costs on select inventory homes, or receive up to $43,000 in price reductions on select inventory homes, or and a discount to buy down the rates. Fantastic deals. Anyway, as with all new construction, when you go into those model homes, those salespeople are super knowledgeable, super friendly. They work for and represent the seller, which is in this case, the builder. So if you're going to buy a home, do me a favor, just give us a call because we can help you and you want somebody representing you and somebody on your side. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. I do these every Thursday at 5 p.m. I will do them for a half hour. I will do them for an hour and 30 minutes. It all depends on your interaction and your engagement. So if you're watching live, Appreciate you guys watching. If you're watching the replay, thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Keep those comments coming. We definitely want to know where you're watching from. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments on the YouTube channel. My contact information is down below. There is links in the description to all the stories. You can drop me an email. I know some people don't want to put their name on the YouTube, which is just fine with me. We appreciate you guys watching. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you soon.